Alright guys, Austen Thomson here. I'm going to do a little haircut for you on this mannequin that I've brought home from the salon. I'm going to use one of these. Which is a cutthroat razor, so that is like an open blade. Sometimes you can get these and they have a guard on them, which is maybe a little bit safer, but I prefer just to go in like with the open blade. I find that I can have a little bit more control of the hair that I'm taking off. So what we are going to do is working on the classic 4-point section, working this in like a 4 equal quadrants, well equal-ish, starting from just behind the ear up to the crown, and the same on the other side. The technique we're going to do is, if you saw my last video that I did with a haircut, it was this exact model, and we worked on like a zero tension, showing you how to get a bob shape that would turn under without causing it to kick out. So on this, what we're going to do is the first sections, we're going to keep these like lower down, keep them quite flat to more like a 1 length, and then we're going to razor out maybe an inch, like from this inch length here, we're going to work our texture in. So the idea is we're going to create a really soft outline on it using a razor. We might use scissors a little bit to clean up any outlines on it. So the graduation is going to come with the elevation, but it is also going to come with razor cutting into the bottom inch or so. We're going to drop the length a little bit longer towards the front, working through the side section on a slight angle. We're going to work on that. The reason I'm doing this haircut, I just want to show something that I would do when I'm in the salon. Oh, remember those days when I used to be in the salon. So yeah, we're going to try and do a few haircuts to do this before we end up taking it in quite short. So just trying to get as maximum amount of use out of the mannequin as possible. So I am going to make a longer video this time, because a lot of the time I edit the videos down so that you can take them in like 5 minutes, something like this. So I'm going to extend this a little bit more to try and give you more information. So if you can leave me a comment down below and let me know if you quite like the longer time, because we've all got more time in our hands, but let me know if you prefer the shorter format that I sometimes do, or that I usually do with the faster edit, or whether you prefer something that is a little bit longer and a bit more detailed. Okay, excellent. Right, so let's get started on this mannequin. Okay, so let's look at the first section. What we want to do here is like bring this down. Tension, is it important? It's quite important, yeah. So razor cutting's not ideal if you only want to really take a little bit off the ends, because it's going to cause you some difficulty with your finger placement, and you know what I mean, you need to be able to take a little bit more off. So for example, we're going to bring this down. So I'm going to hold the hair at the ends, alright, and then this area here is where I want my razor texture, and then the final length to be about here. So if we can start, bring your blade, so your blade on the hair is slightly angled, and then we use like a little bouncing technique like this, yeah. Bring the hair down, hold really low down to the ends, establish your guideline. This is obviously going to become part of your consultation with your client. You will decide with your client the sort of length you're going to go. But again, if you're doing a razor cut, it's always good to have a sort of slightly open-ended what you want the final end result to be. So flexibility is always quite good on this one. Okay, so here, yeah, this little bouncing technique. So if I do that a little bit slower, okay, then you can see where your guideline is. Okay, then you can see the first section now has this like really cool softness to it, yeah. Okay, so we take the section down, and once you've done that, it's difficult then to razor cut more. So what you would do after this is just pinch these little bits of hair here. Now I am going to do the other side. The reason I do that first is because I want to establish my balance in the first section, but after the balance is in here, I'm going to work all the way through this side before I come onto that side. So same principle. Obviously you want to be standing facing onto this section, so now you've got a new guideline from the side. Yeah, our fingers, we want them a little bit longer towards the front, so we start here, pull this section down, hold on to the ends, find our guideline, and then working through the hair. Okay, right, so then what I would do is check a little bit of my balance. That's good. The reason they would do a haircut like this is when you want to change it a little bit and make something that has got a little bit of softness through the edge, a bit more texture. So now we're dropping this straight down from the head here, dropping down from the occipital bone. Just make sure we're not like scooping the hair this way or like twisting it or over directing it too much. Working parallel on this section, so we're lifting that, yeah? So coming out a little bit from the head this time, and then you should find your guideline. Okay, so see the hair from underneath at this section is now elevated up to here, yeah, and then we can see the guideline, all right, and then we want to like so actually, as I'm working, I want to explain this to you guys. I'm only really using this tip here. Yeah, I'm working out from the center. This is like my technique, right? So I've got the hair here, and then we are bouncing through like this. What's quite good about this type of razor is it's got this weighted bit at the end, so it gives you quite a nice balance then. Same principles as you would have, same principles if you were using scissors, you know, you want to have like the balance in here and you want to have the control so that you've got a full range of movement in that wrist, yeah? Like this, yeah? You don't want to be holding it in like really tight or holding it like that, because then the wrist doing all the work. You want to be able to control the movement, gives you like quite a big range. So I have not cut hair for ages, man. It's been so long. It has been about, well, I did one haircut on here, and then that was when we first went into lockdown 4 weeks ago, and then I have not. It's not true. Lola cut her own fringe for some TikTok video she wanted to do, so I had a little bit of fixing to do there, but she's fine. She's got purple hair now, she looks really cool. Okay, the next section, what we're looking at is elevation. Okay, so what we mean by elevation is elevation works on like a horizontal line. So when we are working elevation, we're talking like this, yeah? So let's elevate this a little bit higher. Again, when you bring your fingers lower down, you should see your guideline. And then we are saw cutting through, go a little bit higher so you've got some texture in it. Discipline's still important, although the technique is really loose and the end result is going to be quite soft. It's still important to have that discipline when you're working. You know, always think of like your angles for your graduation, your angle for your section, working cleanly. And can you see that, guys? Yeah, that's really cool. And this is a really commercial, salon friendly haircut, and if you have a client or if you do hair on somebody who always has a similar kind of cut like this, you could do this, and what this is going to do is give you a little bit of variety in your work, but without completely reinventing the wheel. It's about evolution of somebody's style. Still working on the classics. I really think that classics and fundamentals are so important in hairdressing, because once you've got the classics, once you understand how the hair works, then you can start to like break all the rules. If you start breaking the rules before you know them, then discipline's not ever going to be there. So we've started one length here, yeah? Then we've started to elevate, elevate, elevate. And again, a little bit more. I hope we can see this okay. Like, let's bring it around here. So we're elevating this hair a little bit higher again. This is also a cool thing that you can try, right? When you are working with a razor cut, you're going to lose that sharp line, which is what you want. But if you find that you have any little hairs that are longer, just hold the whole section, but be mindful of your structure. You know, if you've lifted it with elevation, lift out to here, twist the hair, and then if you have any longer bits, right now you can see that shape starting to build up. So what have you guys been up to when you have been self-isolating? Have you been doing any hair? Have you been finding it as a time and an opportunity to spend time with family or learning new skills? Or you've been watching a lot of Instagram Live, or what have you been doing? I know that I have been looking at my phone way too much. Okay, now a little bit more elevation. So our elevation is out here. Yeah, but our angle is also on like this shape, yeah? So we bring this around, you know what I mean? We're not cutting this straight across, because if we cut this straight across, what we're going to find is we're going to have a straight shape through the front, and we want the shape to get longer. Well, I want the shape to get longer through the front, so I'm just mindful of that when I'm working. So we're working from the inside, finding the guideline, yeah? On this one I am going to feather through the ends a little bit, so rather than coming in this way and taking the length off, I just want to bring a little bit more of that razor cutting into the structure of the hair. So a little bit higher up, but just be mindful of this guideline here. This point here is really super important that you don't take too much off that, or you will end up with a hollow shape in behind the ear. Okay, so see the elevations coming up a bit more. So this guideline is a travelling guideline when we work with elevation, so it is constantly moving with the head shape, it's not static. Okay, coming a little bit higher, and you don't need to section from underneath, you know, you don't need to do that. You can pick up, in fact the more you pick up the better, because then your guideline becomes stronger and easier to follow. Alright, lift up here, see my guideline. Wow, like, so that section there is way too deep for me to razor cut through. I could do it, but I would be guessing where my guideline was, whereas when we retake that, alright, and also part of that discipline of keeping the structure happening is really important. Where you stand, where you position your body is really important. So what I would do here is I would always stand behind this section here. I wouldn't move around here. If I move around here, this side is going to jump up shorter. If I move further around this side with where my body positioning is, then I will take it too long at the front. So I'm square onto this section here, still allowing for the length to be towards the front. I would lift the whole section down here. Remember my angle, so this elbow's a little bit higher, this elbow's a little bit lower. I'm cutting square into the centre of my chest, which is really important. Yep, so what I'll do is take these little pieces off. That can be done when it's dry, or you can do it when you're doing your cross check. Lift the section out. Remember this elbow is higher. Whoa. Okay, so what we're looking for here is a graduation, yeah? So graduation is when the hair goes from shorter to longer. So it should be all going well. Yeah. Whew, I'm glad that worked out, guys. Okay, so that is now the shape at the back established. Now, I'm a great believer in that the hair should fall into the shape that it has been designed to be worn, so that it's really easy for your clients to manage it. So we have this nice graduation shape. Okay, and it does get a little bit longer towards the front. Now what we'll do is work on the sides. Yeah, so then we want to be on this angle. So I would take my section on the angle that I want the outline to be. Bring the hair down, find the guideline from previously. Find the guideline, yeah, here it is. Remember the principle of coming all the way to the ends. Once we've got that, we know our guideline is here, starting from behind. flat, one length. Start to elevate the section, elevate the section, elevate the section, elevate the section. Remember my body position, I'm just slightly behind the ear because we're keeping it longer towards the front. We're going to elevate here, but we're going to cut here on this angle. So here we go. Oh look, there's a wee green, you see that? It's not going to focus on that. Anyway, it's a little green bit of thread. It's not that. And this first section, or front section should I say, not first section. I really appreciate anybody who spends the time watching my videos, and I hope you get something from them. You know, I hope that I do, like sometimes I make videos that are just a bit like at events and behind the scenes, but sometimes if I do like a haircut or a colour, then I hope you guys benefit from it. And if you do, it'd be really cool if you subscribed or left a comment just to let me know if there's anything else you'd like to see in my videos. But hopefully in this time of crisis then we can reach out to each other and the world becomes a smaller place, even though we're not really allowed to explore that world. But then the digital world is, I guess, that is the normal just now, isn't it? Alright, big shout out to all my friends and family in Swatchcock Professional. These guys have been a massive support. They've been doing some really great stuff to help people out through the pandemic. They've been giving out, like, I don't know the exact numbers, but lots of protective wear because they're under an umbrella from Henkel, who do a lot of like sanitizer, cleaning detergent products. So they have like given millions of stuff away to help out this pandemic. So well done, guys. That is pretty cool. Also, if you check out their Instagram live TV has been really cool. They've had some really inspirational people on it, Leslie and all that, which has been cool. Alright, so that is how I would approach and develop a haircut from someone who has had like a one length and looking to change something about their hair, but they quite like the style. It's about being able to evolve someone who has a haircut and still following the principles and the fundamentals of hair elevation, over direction and shape and structure, but just approaching it in a slightly different way that is more using a razor. For a long time I was so against using razors. I used to use them years ago, like when I first started hairdressing, because they were quite cool then, in like the late 90s or whatever, when I first started. And then I think everything went more disciplined and more structured, which was really good for me. Big thanks to Tyler Johnson, who was like massive in teaching me about structure and hair and suitability. But now I'm using the razor again. I'm using it quite a lot in the salon. It's really nice, it's fast, you know, it's fast, and it gives us a really lived in kind of feel, which I think the trends are starting to move a bit more towards that lived in, especially now. You know, the trend is going to be changing because of this epidemic. Trends come from things that happen times in history. So, you know what I mean, short hair is going to definitely be a thing for guys, because I shaved mine for charity and a lot of other people have. Also, outgrown hair, it's going to give people a chance to see what their hair's like with more natural texture. So I think the trends that come off the back of this are going to be quite interesting to see how they develop. Alright, so using a razor is maybe going to like work with that softness that people are going to hopefully have by the time they get back. So I am just going to like cut the other side. I'm going to time lapse it, but the same principle, just stand in the same place, over direct a little bit of elevation, keep the softness in it, keep the structure. Alright.
What?
Go and give me my afro back. Give me my afro back. Come on. Leave the afro. Leave the afro. Let me see your haircut. Let me see your haircut. Alright guys, so I look forward to seeing you. No, that's not what I say at the end of my videos. And I'll see you in the next video.